Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. G'day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Now in this video, I would like to discuss in detail what Australian study requirement is all about. Now, what does that mean, Australian study requirement? Well, basically meant for a lot of people that come to Australia to study abroad, and how you could actually utilize this opportunity to actually get more points for your migration purpose. Now let's jump into the actual immigration website and have a look what it does say. Okay, so basically this page is very easy to be found. All you need to do is go to Google and type in Home Affairs and space Australian study requirement, and you should be led to this web page that's published by the Australian Government Department of Home Affairs, and it basically spells every single stuff out. What I will intend to do in this video is to go through each one of these elements so you know what you're required to do. Now, people ask, why is this very important? Because at the overview you will see that if you're applying, if you are looking for a general skill migration or skill independent migrations under the subclass of 485, 189, 190 or 491, the new regional work regional visa, you have to have this. You need to meet the Australian study requirements in order to get that extra points. The extra points is actually 5 points, and also if you were to study in regional, you will get additional 5 points. Obviously, you need to meet this Australian study requirements. So why is it very important? The reason is that the government of Australia wanted to confirm that you have been living, staying and studying in the required qualification or the required eligible courses that the government have assessed, and then for at least over 2 academic years, then you would actually get that points. Now these are the detail that they point out for every single element that you require. So you can study either one single qualifications that goes for 2 years, or you can have multiple more than one qualification that goes for 2 years. So the detail that we'll go through right down here. Now the only thing that you need to make sure that is the course is actually registered under the Commonwealth Registered Institution and courses for overseas students. It's a very long name. The shortened acronym is called CRICOS, CRICOS. So these courses are predominantly, you will see what you got for the confirmation of enrollment, which is the COE paper that's required for you to actually lodge a student visa. As long as you have that COE, that's all CRICOS registered courses. Okay, now bear in mind, if you're applying for 485 visa, you have to lodge it within 6 months after you complete your study. So this is the actual note down here. They should put bold anyhow. A lot of people just missed it. So if you're lodging a 485 visa, make sure you lodge it within 6 months after you complete your courses. So if you lapse it over that 6 months, you can no longer apply for 485 visas. Okay, now course requirement basically it can be a bachelor or higher, can be master or PhD, can be a diploma, can be advanced diploma, can be a trade qualification. It has to undertake in the Australian education institution in Australia, been taught in English, register under CRICOS, and undertake while you have the visa. So what does that mean? That's very important, because a lot of people come to Australia with the temporary working visa, sponsor visa, can be any type of other visas. Some people come to study short term with the tourist visitor visas. Now if you're holding any of these visas, not student visas, that cannot be counted as a study requirement. Okay, so make sure that you hold a student visa while studying in Australia, and it has to be 2 years. Well, pretty obvious. To be honest, the detail exact is equate to 92 weeks. Now I don't intend that in every single applicant or international student to actually count weeks by weeks. Now generally 99% of Australian institutions, when they issue the courses, they are within this ranks. I haven't really seen any other institution they fail to issue a 91 week or 90 weeks of courses that making the applicant or student not meeting the requirement. But there are some examples here. This is what they're trying to say. If the courses is less than 92 weeks, for example, you can enroll into a master which generally will be complete within 3 semesters. Now, some people will ask, what if I fail a subject, 1 or 2, and I repeat for another semester? That makes it 4 semesters, so that's 2 years. Now, bear in mind, what this does explain is that if you do that, that cannot be counted. So these paragraphs make it very complicated, but the only thing is very clear and simplified is that only study successfully completed count towards 2 academic years. You cannot include failed subjects. So failed subjects cannot include it into the time that you spend in study your courses. Okay, now also the credit exemptions. Now I'm going to read this through and go through some example here. So if your course is a credit course registered for 138 weeks 3 years and has 24 equal weighted units, you will have completed 2 academic years. We have successfully completed 16 units of the courses, meaning you can study credit up to 8 units and still complete 2 years of courses. Now that's pretty simple. So you enroll to a bachelor of 3 years. Now because you have done some previous courses back home and you got unit transferred or credited, so you're only required to study 2 years in order to get your bachelor degree in Australia. Now that basically meet the requirement. So if you put it into another scenario, if you register to if you enroll to a 2-year master course, and then you utilize whatever your previous study to credited some subjects off, and you are only required to study 1.5 years, that's 3 semesters. Now that's the problem. If you're in that situation, you won't be meeting the Australian study requirements. So bear in mind, if you're in that situation, make sure you don't want to credit too many subjects. You want to complete at least 2 years to actually earn that extra points for Australian study requirement. So that's what that basically meant. So minimum is going to be 16 months. Now previously there has been a lot of debates between 2 years, how many months, how many weeks. Nowadays again, they are less and less. 99% of the courses that you enroll should be fine, because when this law introduced in the past, there was a complexity of different institutions coming up with 91 weeks, 90 weeks, 15 months or 14 months. Does that count? Does it not count? But now it's all within that thing. So I don't think there's any complication towards the current enrollment of any studies nowadays. Okay. Now these are some options. So if you, for example, the thing that I talked about, you were trying to enroll to a master for 1.5 years. You want to get more, you want to get 1 more semester to complete. So 2 things that you can do: you can ask the university cancel the credit transfer, so you actually redo the whole units, the repeated credited units again, or ask them if you can get extra unit, for example the electives, so you get extra semesters. Then that will also get you to meet the requirement again. Okay. Now, overlapping qualifications. This is very wrap. Okay, I'm gonna read it out and explain what it does meant. Okay, so you can undertake overlapping qualification. For example, student applying for undergraduate a graduate work stream of the subclass 485 could complete diploma of finance and then diploma of accounting, where 2 units of last qualification were granted credit for early qualifications. Where qualification overlap, you cannot count the period of study more than once. If you complete more than 1 qualifications but use only the most recent qualification to meet Australian study requirement, any credit you receive from most recent any credit that you receive in the most recent qualification from previous qualification count towards meeting Australian study requirement. The actual period of study within the previous qualification can also be used for that 16 months of requirement. See, that's very rapid. Yeah, I don't expect anyone reading that paragraph will actually understand what it actually meant. So I'm gonna explain further. So basically, it means if you have been taking 2 plus or multiple courses, the very important thing is that they are closely related courses, and it's actually it's a common sense. For example, if you have studied finance before and then you go for study accounting, obviously these are closely related courses, so a lot of subjects are duplicates, so they were credited over. So what it's trying to say is the credited over subjects can be counted towards that Australian study requirement because they are related courses. Okay, so if they are not related courses, for example, you've done a finance before and now you want to do mechanics, or you want to do a commercial cookeries, of course they're not related. If you apply for these courses, you cannot ask for institution from a commercial cookery courses to actually get credits from your previous finance study. It doesn't make sense anyhow. So all you need to do is making sure that 2 years of study you have been completed under course register courses while you're holding a student visa, and that's the very important thing that you need to stand with it. Okay, now study outside Australia. There's some people that come to Australia to study bachelor and they do enter into exchange programs. So a bachelor course is generally a 6 semester, 3 years, and some of the semesters you may being exchanged to United States or being exchanged to Europe, as long as the semester that you spend in Australia is 4 semesters, and then that can be counted. Okay, that's pretty simple. Evidence will attach to the application. That's pretty easy. So you need to get of course your graduation certificate and your transcripts and all the other stuff. That the completion date is very important. Now the institution make it very simple and easy. All you need to do is head towards your student center. Once you complete the final examinations, you go to your student center and say, look, I need a letter of completion. So they will print out letter of completion under your name and the courses they study, commence day and completion day. That's generally in the letter format, and that's generally be used for your visa purpose. Okay, so that's basically what Australian study requirement is all about, and you're more than welcome to leave a comment right down below. And finally, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribe to our channel, so once we have more Australian visa insights and the upcoming videos, you'll be the first one to be informed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.